I can shed some light on the situation. I guess I never considered that.
Hey everyone, this is James with Peakway Software, and I'm actually going to do a little bit of a different video for you guys today. This is not a devlog. What I actually wanted to do was show off some of our features that we have that weren't really, or at least I didn't feel that they were properly shown off in the trailer, just with the small time frame the trailer has. And I really just wanted to show you guys that the mechanics that we have are in-game and are actually real, that there's something tangible here, so it's not like a fake game or vaporware scam type of deal. And I also wanted to start with some of the feedback we got. Is a lot of people were, well, not a lot, but we were getting some feedback about the color palette maybe being a little too brown or desaturated. And so part of what we've done to just test around with different things is we've upped the saturation of the overall world, and I've also made the game brighter. And so I'm hoping that that will alleviate some of the feedback of the color palette of people thinking it's too brown. So I'm going to start with actually showing you the inventory system, which is something that didn't make it at all into the video, unfortunately. So I guess we'll start at the top. If you look, when I hover on things, you know, obviously you can see it updating. And when I click on something, it highlights even greater. And these little icon on the right here, this is let you know these are your equipped items. And when you equip something, or at least let's say I put this on, when I leave my inventory and come back, it should be at the top. And here it is. Yep. You can also see I have an enchantment on this armor, and we have a little icon here for that. Let's see, and there's also, of course, the top right, you see there's a rating, or a rarity, sorry, not a rating, for each different item. And so this is an example of one that's leveled up all the way. And that's from doing the smithing and upgrading systems. So I'm going to do a little demo and showing off the combat as well, to sort of get that in a not super small snippets, so you can kind of see how it goes from point A to point B. But before I get to that, I want to show you, let me make it to a different, look at the light over here, see better. So all of our armor, we can actually change the tint of, well, each armor gets at least 4, or at most 4 different tints. And you don't have to use an item to do this, but you can configure each armor to change the color to get whatever just whatever look you want. And you can add your own custom colors to the modding, but we'll be adding a lot more to hopefully cover all the bases. This is just a start. But for example, I'm just going to change a few things. Let's see, I think I changed the belt. And I think I'm just going to change the pants to something different. I don't remember which color is the main one. I'll try to find it. Oh, there it is. I guess we'll go with that. And there, so you can see how you can really get your own look just from basic tinting to try to make your character look the way you want. You see. So I also want to show you the hotkey system. Well, actually, first I should look at the filters. So at the top, we can filter between different types of items. And at the top right, we have the books. And so here, we got our spell books. So if I click on these, you see I get a message saying I've learned the spell. I'm going to do this other one too. And if we go here, we can actually see our spells that we know. And then we can quick slot them. Alright, so I'm going to put them... This is similar to like an MMO system where you get all different abilities and items and consumables. And I've actually configured mine to some of my mouse buttons here. Actually, I think I want to do that in reverse. Put that here. Oh, what am I doing? Again, this is not a highly edited video. Actually, barely edited at all. I'm just really trying to show you what the game looks like the way you would see it when you play. Alright. What am I messing up here? Alright. Let me just go with it. Let me just check real quick. No. Okay, that's how I want it. If you look at the bottom left, you will see how it was grayed out, and as the timer goes, it becomes less gray. But we also can hotkey the different weapons. So I'm going to set up 3 different weapon hotkey configurations and switch between them. See that? I think this one's set to D, and I'll set the bow. We actually go to the weapon filter. Set the bow. E. Alright, so this part's really cool. So now if I'm in combat, I can switch between the weapons on the fly, and I don't have to open up my inventory. Hit this wrong button. And it automatically does it for me. Oh, that was the wrong button. Can pull that back out. Oh, I see. I must have forgot to hotkey, or I hotkeyed to the wrong spot. Nice. So I need to put this on the connector between them all. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to actually go ahead and run to where I've got the NPCs now. I've got them configured where once one of them sees me, they will all see me. Well, I guess they weren't close enough for it to detect, I guess, that first time. So you see here we actually have a lock-on mechanic, and it works much better in first person. We still have to do a lot of work on the third-person camera. Oh, let me back up. So, again, directional dodges, and you just saw the NPC just didn't extend. But they can do all the things that we can do. And monsters can actually do this too, they just have to have the proper animations for it. Let me actually stop locking on. So I just got hit with the target spell. So we have 2 different types of spells, right? So we have the typical... That's actually a bug. We'll figure that one out later. That doesn't happen every time, just so you know. That was kind of a freak thing. But... So when I lock on, I can actually do target spells, right? So I don't have to actually aim the spell, it's just going to spawn and put down. He actually tried to dodge that one, but he was going completely straight backwards. So I want to show you the different mechanics. So blocking, obviously, I can parry if you time it correctly. It's actually really easy to time. But the AI can actually do the same thing to you. And I want to show you what happens when you block for too long. And keep a note, well, this is what happens, so you can get kicked over. I'm waiting for them to do it for me, though. You'll notice that when I get hit, you actually are forced to move backwards a little bit. We actually have 2 different modes of staggering. Like if I get hit by one of these guys, as long as they don't do a power attack, that's another bug. But when it collides with the allies, it didn't register the hit. That's something new. But if I stand still, I should get staggered, or at least... Alright, there you go. So the first guy wasn't doing enough damage. There you go. So you saw he kicked me there when I blocked. But that's the first version of staggering. And if you get hit harder, I can actually get a greater stagger. So I'm going to do it on this guy right here. And then, so that's a different type of stagger than the standard one. Let me actually switch to this. Oh, nope. So again, you could imagine how when you hotkey all your different things, you could switch between weapons. Notice how they dodged after that. After she got hit, she tried to dodge. They actually both applied at the same time. So I guess that's the core of the mechanics. It's parrying, kicking, and dodging. And the AI can obviously do everything you can. I'm trying to show you that they, Get messed up. Oh, I forgot to do something. Hold on, let me actually run away. I forgot to quick slot my potions. Totally forgot about that. So we do have potions. Where's that? So I can quick slot these, and unfortunately, since they're coming after me, I probably shouldn't. I'm trying to get this one to parry me, so you can see what that looks like. This one has a higher parry rate, but, well, they keep messing me up. Get her to block again. Oh, come on. Yeah, again, this is not like super polished and professional as far as the presentation of this video, but I just wanted to show you that this is real gameplay mechanics and not smoke and mirrors. There you go, there's the parry. Keep hitting the wrong key for that. And you might think that, you know, the hotkey for the lock-on for the bow is kind of overkill, but you've noticed how, well, actually he just dodged it right there. So they can always dodge you, but then also if they're moving too fast, the arrow will fire behind them by the time it gets to them. So you kind of have to wait till they get the right opportunity. So the hotkey, this is almost like an easy mode for people, but if you're more skilled, you can actually try to. One button again. You can actually. Let me hit the right button, please. We'll turn off my hot. There we go. Turn off the lock on. So if you're really skilled, you can aim in front of them, which obviously I am not really skilled. And then every once in a while, you do have issues with collisions. Where right there, I probably should hit her. Work that time. So with the bow, when you're aiming, you're forced to walk. So you have to aim before you can fire. And when you reload, you'll notice I stop moving. And so that's on purpose, just to try to limit the kind of effectiveness of the bow, not to make it too overpowered. And this character has high stats, so my stamina is recharging very fast. But typically, especially in the early game, you're going to have to walk during combat in the beginning, because we'll see. Let me actually waste some stamina here. Try to get some down. See, I'm regenerating really fast as a character. Actually, blocking isn't fast. So when I'm running, you'll see that the stamina actually goes down slower, but when I start to walk, it'll recharge much faster. So in combat, you actually want to choose between walking and running. Of course, walking leaves you open to more attacks, but it regenerates your stamina faster. But when you pull the bow into play with that, you're walking around shooting, dodging, choosing when to reload actively. Because that way you still have stamina the whole time, so you can get away if you need to. Of course, since there's hotkey, you don't have to switch between spells like weapons. You can use them with any weapon. So I can have a shield, use my bow, and cast my spells, no problem. You don't have to have any conflicts with that. Let me actually put a shield on so I can show you. So you can see, cast it. But yeah, so I mean, you can obviously see there's some issues with some spell detection, like this thing didn't figure out that it didn't hit the target, and it hasn't figured out it needs to turn itself off. But this is all super small stuff that can be worked out. While I'm looking at these bushes here, we can actually harvest items. That's something I messaged in the devlog. But yeah, so that's it for this section. I'm going to go into the character creation next. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and show you the character creator. And keep in mind, this is all very early, and we're definitely going to be working on improving this throughout early access. So top left, we got our name here. Starts to Bob. Fun fact, some of you pointed out that one of the characters in the multiplayer session was Bob too. And that ended up... Oh, sorry about that. That ended up getting through unnoticed. So, I would say I would compare this as far as quality, kind of similar to something more like Oblivion, but maybe a little bit better. But it's definitely not at the AAA level yet. So we have different skin variations, which are actually totally different meshes with their own textures. And then we have face variations on the right of that, where, let me see if I zoom in, you can see how you could change the different like facial textures for wrinkles and stuff like that. And so again, this is all part of the modular system. You can add your own face variations, skin variations, and different species as well. You know, obviously we have the sexes over here in the top right, switch between them. So in the bottom we got, you know, the eye color, you know, very simple, straightforward stuff. We tried to make it so that when you look at it, it becomes apparently obvious how it works. And then you can tint with different colors. Well, it's probably not as noticeable with this character. Look at this. We'll go back to that guy then. Alright, so then in the bottom I can pick the hairs. I'll go with that one. Then we'll give him a nice beard. And so we actually separate the beard and hair color, and then the tip color for each different one. So, for example, you can make a guy who is potentially getting a little older, so the tips of his hair are starting to gray out, for example. Or if you try to make a blonde character, usually what you might want to do is have the first color blonde, and then the second color maybe starting to get to a little bit of red, which is something that you don't typically get with a lot of games. Of course, you change the tip colors too. So that is the kind of core of it as far as just raw appearance. And of course we have different species, so we haven't gotten to the point where we've added in the other textures and face variations for the different species yet. That's why I'm mostly showing you the humans. But we'll be adding that and doing race-specific hairstyles for each of them. So the characteristics is basically where the progression is. So this is similar to Dark Souls, where every one of these kind of influences some sort of like power value. And so when you hover over them, they explain what they are. So these first two are very obvious, increase your health, increase your endurance. So swiftness will increase your speed. So physicality will scale the damage of, different melee weapons, and obviously you can read. But it's that same sort of system where this is all basically character power related. And we're not sure if we're going to do skills for non-combat things, because like right now it's all just player skill based, as in like whether or not you can do the system. For example, lock picking, and we actually don't put any restrictions on crafting right now, so you don't have to like level up a crafting level in order to unlock different recipes. You just need to have the ingredients, and we're not 100% sure if we're going to start to segment that off or not. But so this is just very straightforward here. Now the trait section is where we start to get to the role-playing and the speech and dialogue. And so obviously again there's descriptions for each one, but this is all stuff you set up manually and inside of the dialogue tree. So you would just check and say, hey, does this character have the charm trait? And then you'd give them an extra option, and that will go into a different section of the tree. And so you can start with picking 2, and then I think we're going to have it so when you get to a certain level you'll be able to pick 1 more, and we'll probably add some more later. And then of course again with mods you can add your own personality traits. And we also have room on the bottom here. We wanted to do something similar to a perk system, but it's not fully implemented yet. That's why we've taken it out. But we basically want to do like advantages and disadvantages, where if you pick one, you have to pick the other one. So if you pick an advantage, you have to also pick a disadvantage. But that's not fully implemented yet, so we're just not going to worry about it right now. And then this, let me actually give my guy no facial hair so you can see the next part. So this is something similar to what you would see in other games. Just simple sliders, we could change things, and we can keep adding sliders. And eventually I want to expand this to actually different body parts other than just the facials. But yeah, that's the basics of the character system, and we're going to expand on this later. But I just really wanted to show you guys that there is systems in place, and that this isn't like people say vaporware, like there's nothing actually there. It's just all cinematics or fake video. But yeah, so, and I'll see you guys in the next one, I guess. Hey everyone, this is James with Peakway Software, and this is devlog number 8. It's been about 2.5 years since our last update, and we've got a lot of explaining to do. First, I want to officially apologize to anyone who was following us since the beginning. Basically, ever since PAX 2017, we got to a point where we realized our game just wasn't good enough to be shown to people yet, and so we wanted to stop publicly updating things until we felt like we got the game in order. So I'm going to start talking about the current state of the game and just list off the features that we have completed so far. We have our melee, ranged, and magic combat systems functional now. You can hotkey different spells and abilities to use them in combat, so you don't have to wield them as if they are a weapon like in some other games. With the combat system, we have a parry mechanic where you can stagger enemies if you time the parry correctly. We also have a kick mechanic. If someone is holding their block too long, you can knock them over. And we also have directional dodges with iframes. We have object harvesting, so you can walk up to a plant, for example, and harvest it and use that to create potions. On that note, we do have crafting and smithing in place. We also have an enchanting system where you can enchant both weapons and armor. Our speech and dialogue system is implemented, and we can use multiple different personality traits to give unique dialogue decisions for each character. Our quest system is implemented, although we are always adding extra things to it and expanding on its functionality. We have NPC vendor trading. We also have companion trading and basic companion functionality. Our AI has the ability to interact with furniture, such as sleeping and sitting on benches or chairs. The AI also behaves on a time schedule, so we can tell them what to do based on the time of day. We have lootable chests and containers, and we also have a lockpicking minigame and full inventory system. Player character progression is in a functioning state. We have the ability to open the map and see where the character is, and also see map icons when you walk up to them and discover them. We have a checkpoint style fast travel system. We have a fully functional faction system for both the player and the AI. Of course, the level editor and mod support has been in there from the very beginning. We have an incomplete swimming system just to have very basic functionality. We have in-game books that the player can pick up and read. And we also have hip-mounted lamps that the player can turn on at any given time. And last but not least, we have co-op working with 2 players currently, and eventually we will expand this to 4 players. So now I'm going to talk about our plans moving forward. We are currently starting to reach out to content creators and are going to be doing interviews and podcasts. We're starting to do PR and spreading word of mouth because we're going to do another crowdfunding campaign using Indiegogo around October 21st. That will include a free demo on Steam with working multiplayer. We're doing this hoping to raise enough money to get another 8 to 9 months of development and then releasing a Steam Early Access from then. And we're not sure exactly how long we will be in Early Access, but once we exit Early Access, we will begin porting to consoles. So that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to wishlist the game on Steam and tell your friends.